This is Epcot Center. Epcot Center at Walt Disney World in Florida.
Disney's animatronics are timeless. Sadly, not every Disney attraction lasts forever, and when the attraction goes, the animatronics go too. So, let's take a look at 5 retired Disney animatronics. The Three-Headed Troll, Maelstrom. The Norwegian Pavilion was the last to be opened at Epcot, and for this pavilion, a new ride was being planned. This ride was called Sea Venture and was supposed to be a journey through mythical lands and trolls that would finish with a rainbow bridge to Valhalla. Norwegian sponsors wanted something different, so the ride changed and became Maelstrom. The ride opened on July 5, 1988, and was a mix of flume and dark ride. It took guests through mythological scenes of Norwegian history. We first boarded the boats that took us to the lift hill. Here, a voice could be heard.
Those who seek the spirit of Norway face peril and adventure, but more often find beauty and charm.
At the top of the hill, we could see Odin hovering above. The ride took us through scenes that showed us seafarers and maritime villages depicting a mythological version of Norway's Viking days. Then, we encountered a type of swamp where we could come face to face with 2 very upset trolls. One of these was a large 3-headed troll that became angered by our intrusion and proclaimed that we had entered troll country. He then proceeded to cast a spell on the boat and banishing us from the swamp by moving our boat backwards over the falls. The boat then floats past scenes of polar bears and live trees before stopping on the edge of a waterfall. Then it started moving forward again and descending down a 28-foot drop into a model of the North Sea. And after passing extremely close to an oil rig, the boat made its final stop in the loading deck once again. On September 12, 2014, it was announced that this ride would be replaced by Frozen Ever After, a new attraction based on Frozen. The new ride has the same track, but this time we go through scenes telling the story of Anna and Elsa. This ride had lots of cool animatronics, but the most impressive was the 3-headed troll. Sadly, nobody knows what happened to it. It was probably repurposed in some way or thrown away. Aladar, Discovery River Boats. When Animal Kingdom was being planned, Beastly Kingdom was one of the areas that were supposed to open. This area would be where we could find all types of mythological creatures, like dragons, unicorns, and much more. Sadly, the area was postponed and then cancelled. But when Animal Kingdom was being announced, the advertisement showed these mythological animals that would not appear anywhere in the park. So Imagineers knew that something had to be done. They took a type of transportation they had developed to go around the park and tried to turn it into a ride with the small budget they were given. This ride was called Discovery River Boats, and it would take guests from Asia to the Safari Village and back. It was decided that in this ride there would be a dragon, unicorn, and a kraken, among other animals. But again, the cost of the park kept going higher and higher, and there was only money enough to build a dragon. While this was being developed, the dinosaur movie was being developed too. Michael Eisner had the great idea of taking the money that was meant for the dragon and building an enormous Aladar animatronic. The animatronic was really impressive, but it was definitely not what was expected from this made-up attraction. When the attraction opened, guests did not like it at all, and so the ride was changed into Discovery River Taxis before closing forever on August 21, 1999. 10 months before the dinosaur movie even came out. The animatronic was taken to the Studio Tram Tour Behind the Magic at Walt Disney Studios Park in Paris, where it was displayed for guests to see. Dreamfinder, Journey into Imagination. The opening of Epcot brought to Walt Disney World a new, unusual idea. A Disney park that did not focus on the fairy tale part of the world and did not bring any Disney characters to life. Instead, Epcot invented its own lovable characters.
Hello there, I'm the Dreamfinder, and my little purple friend here is a figment of my imagination.
Figment for sure.
The Imagination Pavilion contained the charming dark ride Journey into Imagination, where guests rode along with the musical Dreamfinder, a kindly dreamy inventor, and his parrot-sized purple dragon, Figment. This ride was beautiful. It followed Dreamfinder and Figment through a musical adventure of arts, literature, entertainment, and music. One Little Spark. The famous Sherman Brothers song was featured throughout the ride, and it talked about how just a little bit of inspiration could create an entire world of imagination. During the ride, the animatronic Dreamfinder could be seen collecting sparks and ideas with his flying machine. He created Figment from the sparks and invited us to his workshop at the Dreamsport and the realms of imagination. Sadly, Disney decided to unite the entire Imagination Pavilion in one theme, and they chose to re-theme the dark ride to match the film in the pavilion's 3D theater, Honey, I Shrunk the Audience. The ride was renamed Journey into Your Imagination. Its track was cut in half, Figment made a single cameo, and Dreamfinder was completely gone. This version of the ride received so much criticism from the public that it only survived for 2 years before it was replaced. It reopened as Journey into Imagination with Figment, its current incarnation. Figment received a much larger role this time around, appearing in every single show scene. The famous theme tune of the original ride, One Little Spark, was also back, but Dreamfinder is still nowhere to be found. Looking back at Tomorrow Robots, Horizons.
Step into the future in Epcot Center's newest adventure. Step into the future in Horizons. Step into the future today.
Horizons was an amazing attraction in Future World at Epcot that took us into the future of what Earth might look like based on scientific advancements. It opened on October 1st, 1983. While Horizons is beloved for its optimistic view of our potential futures, it also featured a whimsical looking back at tomorrow sequence that offered a glimpse at past visions and views of yesterday's future. As the attraction's narrator said, people have been dreaming about the future for centuries. And in this sequence, we explored scenes of Jules Verne's science fiction adventures and retro-futuristic vehicles, such as blimps and zeppelins. Conceived in mind by French illustrator and novelist Albert Robida. These aren't the only past visions that we could marvel at. In an Art Deco-themed sequence, guests could glimpse at a smug robot butler, with a vacuum cleaner and feather duster in hand, and giggle at the multi-armed robotic chef making a mess of the kitchen. These robots have become beloved icons for Horizons, occasionally featured on park merchandise and even popping up in other Disney attractions. On January 9th, 1999, Horizon closed due to a sinkhole beneath the building. The building stood unoccupied for well over a year as Disney decided between either relaunching the attraction or demolishing the building and creating a new attraction in its place. It was decided to build a new cutting-edge outer space theme attraction.
In fact, it's going to be so big that the current building won't hold it. We're building a brand new pavilion to hold this great new attraction.
So, the Horizons building was slowly torn down in July 2000. The demolition of the building marked the first time in Disney history that an entire ride building had to be demolished in preparation for a new attraction. Construction on Mission Space began in late 2000, and the attraction opened in 2003. According to Imagineeringdisney.com, most of the animatronics are all piled up and abandoned under the Carousel of Progress. Buzzy, Cranium Command.
Hey, you gold bricks! This ain't a spectator sport! Where do you think you are, Disney World? Get your strollers in line and hustle on the double!
The Wonders of Life Pavilion was opened on October 19th, 1989. This pavilion was dedicated to life, health, and the human body. It featured 2 attractions. Body Wars, a motion simulator ride that took us on a mission to study the effects of the white blood cells on a splinter inside the left index finger of a volunteer. And Cranium Command. The show was a humorous presentation of the importance of the human brain. Guests became Cranium Commandos and were sent on a mission into the human brain. It starred Buzzy, a tiny little soldier who had been tasked with keeping a 12-year-old boy out of trouble by entering his cranium. After a pre-show briefing, guests entered the theater, which was designed to represent the inside of a human head. The outside world was seen through a pair of screens designed to mimic the eyes. Buzzy himself led the mission in audio animatronic form. In January 2007, the Wonders of Life Pavilion was closed for good, without any explanation. And the attractions were left intact and abandoned. The animatronics remained in the ride until December of 2018, when reports of the Buzzy animatronic being stolen were posted. People went crazy with this news all around. On December 28, 2018, an incident report from the Orange County Sheriff's Office surfaced, saying that Buzzy's personal items were stolen, not the animatronic itself. These items include the green military-style hat and headset, red bomber jacket, and his pair of custom-made rubber hands. This makes a lot more sense because who would be able to steal a whole animatronic? But who knows? Which animatronic do you miss the most? We're doing a part 2 next week, so be sure to comment below and let us know which animatronics you would like to see. Thankfully, there are many amazing animatronics that are not going anywhere, and you can go check them out if you start planning your next magical vacation with our friends from pixievacations.com. They will help you plan your perfect vacation to Disneyland, Disney World, or a Disney cruise specifically tailored to your vacation style and budget. And working with a Pixie is completely free. So talk with them to make the best out of your Disney vacation. See you next time!